September Zero, kind of weird.
Why do you keep doing this?
It's a
Literally,
pretty good bit.
I quite literally just pressed the button. I was confused. I'm like, wait, did it start or not? I was literally waiting for it to actually put on the timer thing, and as soon as it hit, it timed perfectly with you talking. Why can't, uh, on
You
that
have a
note,
funny story about timing, actually.
well, anyway, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 3 of the Out of Pocket podcast. We are taking out the TCG for this one, even though it's not going to be removed from the thumbnail because I'm boring. But anyway, here we are with episode 3. We made it 3 episodes somehow.
Somehow.
Yes.
But, as per the 3-episode rule, this is the last episode before we, potentially get canceled.
Don't jinx us. Anyway, after all this time, today's episode, in case you are not looking at the screen on your, in case you don't know, is going to be kind of more of a talk about somewhat the state of Gundam, primarily using the 2 most recent projects that have come out in terms of, well, technically 3, because I completely forgot about the fact that Gundam Breaker 4 dropped too. So we can technically talk about Gundam Breaker 4 too. It's basically be a Gundam catch-all, with it being a mix of Witcher Mercury, the TV anime, the Netflix series Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, and I guess we can consider it I guess we can consider Gundam Breaker 4, because man, I got some thoughts on that game. But first, kind of an update, kind of a little talk about what we've been doing. So, yeah, what you been doing?
Well, I picked up some Magic the Gathering cards last
I bought
week.
Stellar Blade.
Huh?
Yeah, don't feel good now, do it.
No.
But no, for real, I actually bought Stellar Blade. I'll talk to you about the Magic thing in a second, because I got to talk about that too. But yeah, I bought Stellar Blade. It was on sale. Man, I've been waiting for this game to kind of have a sale for a while, but it's like it took a long time for it to go on sale. So I finally bought it. I am about 3 missions away from the end of the game, based on what the guide is saying.
Yeah.
I used the guide. I was like, I can't stay this long. Turns out it's not because of the length of the game that I'm having this issue. It turns out the back half of the game decides to lock in.
Wait, this actual game?
Yes, it's an actual game.
Oh, wow, shoot. I had no idea.
Yes, it's actually what is. It's actually more so just like a Souls like, which I know is weird considering like it should just be like a
You're
regular
the first
action
person
game.
to talk about gameplay when it comes to Stellar Blade. How does that make you feel?
Uh, I mean, unless you don't listen to the Big Think Dimension, probably, or Castle Super Beast. I guess those are like the only 2 people I know that have directly talked about the gameplay, at least from like a big outlet. That's not true. The joke is now fell flat in space. I'm sorry. But yeah, I played it. It's very much it's very much what I kind of expected after like hearing so much for like 6 months about kind of like the issues and things. So yeah, it's basically a Souls like, you're more grounded, as opposed to just kind of flying everywhere like it's Kingdom Hearts or DMC. Your whole point is really just to kind of parry your opponent's attacks and then just deal a bunch of damage after you've knocked out all their shield points.
So it's a Sekiro-like.
Yeah, it's basically Sekiro. It's Korean Sekiro. That's, I think, that's the best way to put it.
I'm putting my mini Sword Strike in Quest 3 HD. Thanks.
Yeah, but so that whole thing, and there's I gotta say, like, when the game opens up, like, I really did, like, kind of end up getting to enjoy a lot of the combat. I think that's, I feel like, obviously, for the first, like, console game from the developer, which is Shift Up, I think is actually a pretty solid start and a good foundation to bank off for a potential sequel. But I think, ironically, the least issue I have is with the gameplay, and at least up until now, the three main characters, which is Eve, the main character. There's Adam, who is kind of like the chauffeur, and then there's Lily, who's the engineer. Like, if you don't know, if you don't see anything past like the first trailer, like see many game exhibitions, you probably, there's a high chance you don't know who Lily is. She kind of like comes out like out of nowhere. She's not in the original announcement trailer. She's like 3 trailers deep, and the third trailer is like 2 years after the announcement trailer.
Wow.
So
Sounds like a late edition.
it's ironic because she kind of is important to the whole game. Like, uh, somewhat of a spoiler warning. I know we're talking about spoiler warning for Stellar Blade, like, immediately early into the podcast, but we can't do it.
No one's gonna care about the plot in Stellar Blade. Let's.
So, but it's kind of like a mini spoiler. It's like the whole thing is when you unlock Lily and you reach kind of like the main hub town. There's now a kind of like you can't check it, but there's a meter that you don't if you go in blind you won't know what it is, but it's like a meter that when you do side quests, pick up cans, which are like Eve's collectibles, because she like finds out that cans exist. Is like, I kind of like these. So she just collects cans throughout the game, and basically do all side quests, progress the story and whatnot. A meter fills up, and when you hit 100% before a certain point of the game, you unlock a special quest that Lily gives you. And you can choose to do this quest. But very much, obviously, like, if you do the quest, which you should, it was annoying as heck to do, but it's actually a really fun quest. If you do it, it allows you to unlock the true ending.
Yeah, that sounds about right. True ending, locked on,
so
doing all the stuff.
because there's a character you meet in that mission that is, I think, going to be important to the end of the game. But very much, like, obviously, you don't beat the mission, you won't know what the whole deal is. So that's the thing. But yeah, I'm almost like three like main missions away from the end of the game. There's the mission right before. Like, the mission right before, which is again, another small spoiler, it is, you have to go into space. Like, this mission right here is probably like the first mission I've legitimately just actually loved from this game. Because there's, you're going through the mission, and like 2/3 of the way through the mission, you get the one time in the entire game up to this point that I've played where there's a three form boss battle.
Ooh.
Yes, you literally go through the entire game with, like, once you get through their health, they're done. But what are you doing?
Don't worry about it.
Did you just put a...
I mean, yeah.
Nigga, you can't fall asleep while my discussion. But gonna put a blanket on his VTuber. That's crazy.
Bye.
Like, I'm watching. I'm saying it. But the point is, like, you do this whole thing. So it's the first, like, 3-stage boss fight. And it's probably, like, one of the best boss fights in the game. And I'm just like, this is what... Now that I finally got it, it really was damn, I kind of locked in now. I'm like, I need to actually beat him. Because this is, like, the first boss is literally just, like, the boss is not fighting you because it's in, like, some sort of, like, a mindless creature. No, the boss is fighting you because it's hatred. Like,
raw hate?
Yes, it is raw hate. Just pure hatred. Like, earlier in the mission, you technically fought it and cut its arm off, then it ran away. Then, like, right before you hit, like, the big climax of the mission, it pulls up, grows its arm back, and says, lock in. I'm doing this for the love of the game. Let's go.
There.
But it's very much that. There is one thing that is kind of, like, bothering me a little bit. And that's really just kind of how the early part of the story shaped up to where we are now. Like, I gotta be honest here, this is probably the worst way I unlocked a double trigger in an action game that is like a transform mechanic. It's like, oh, this important thing happens. All of a sudden, Lily comes in like, oh, hey, you know the thing that just happened? Oh, yeah, here you go, and you just get it. It's like, wait, what?
I mean, have you seen that clip, I think, from, like, Commodore or Fives, where, like,
No.
bro just gets
haven't watched
thrown the
Fives.
final... bro just gets thrown the final form item from off screen.
Oh, I have seen,
It
the final
just
form
chucked from an Amazon driver.
But, yeah, that's kind of it. I want to talk more about it probably, like, maybe next podcast when I actually legitimately, like, have a full look at it. And yes, I did buy the Nier Automata DLC, and I have not done it. One, because there's a bunch of costumes. Two, because in order to unlock it, you have to find a driving car and catch it.
I don't see the problem here.
You have to get the materials, to get the things that are in the DLC, you have to find a car that is driving and shoot it so that it stops, so that you can actually get your stuff.
No.
I have not been able to catch it because every time it shows up, I'm in the midst of 4 enemies trying to kill me.
Yeah, that sounds like a very Yoko Taro thing to do.
So it's like, oh, cool, this is funny. Which, you know what? Speaking of, this is also the same vehicle that is also in Nier that you also have to do in the thing. But it's also even funnier because this is the second time Shift Up has done this. Because in Nikkei, to access the shop in the Nier Automata event, you have to find it on the map. So this is 3 times now I've had to find something to do with a car. So I just have not interacted. I'm like, I'm just going to the end of the game, bro. I'm just moving.
You gotta catch them cars, Zechs.
If I get back to a point where I can do my side quest, then maybe, yeah, I don't know. But I don't know. I'm feeling the momentum right now. So,
Sure.
anyway, that's basically what I've been trying to do. This one reason I don't have a new intro yet. Trying to at least
I
burn
don't have
through
a
it.
lot of new anything, because I started playing that stupid game, Ellen.
Game called
Don't pick
what?
up a sandbox game. It's called Ellen. Do not pick up an early access sandbox game. It will consume your life. Don't do it. Fun game. Totally recommend it. I already have like 50 hours in it. It came out like 2 weeks ago. Send help.
But you said not to do it.
I mean, don't listen to me, man. Drugs are bad, but also, I mean, I love drugs right now, man. What do you
Okay.
want from me?
Anyway, talk about your Magic Gathering thing before I interrupted you.
Yeah, so like I go to this card shop, right? Turns out super close to where my job is. So that's pretty convenient. I go and I'm like, ooh, is that the new Magic Foundations thing? Is there any commander decks for it? Nope. Shoot, I gotta buy a beginner box. I cracked this open in the store, right? Half the cards are missing.
Huh?
Half the cards in the beginner box were missing.
Wait,
I
hold on.
got WotC day one.
How is that what?
Right? I'm like, oh yeah, this comes with two beginner decks and like eight like
Like legitimately the
jumpstart
beginner
decks.
the decks were just missing or something?
Five of the eight, yeah, 5 to 8 jumpstart decks were missing.
And it was sealed.
It was sealed.
Oh wow.
Right.
Cause I also
I
why were you
literally
looking?
got scammed by Wizards of the Coast.
Also, why were you looking for the commander decks?
You know the joke. Every Magic the Gathering journey begins with Commander.
Well,
It all inevitably collapses back in the Commander. You and I both know this.
I bought it for the standard thing. For the point being
Well,
standard
I did too.
because I want to play cats.
There.
Cats are cool.
Like, so then I signed up for the whole like beginner Magic thing. You know, I'm not actually like a beginner because I played Arena. I'm like, sure, right? And you know what happens? The guy that like runs the cards, so like, there's only three of us here, like small pod for the beginner thing. He's like, all right, I know you guys are pretty new at Magic the Gathering. Want to play some Commander? It's like, what? Hey, borrow these Commander decks instead. Who wants to learn Magic? And like midway into in, the guy at the register actually was like, "Oh, here are the beginner like Magic the Gathering decks you're supposed to be using for the event." Freaking bonkers night, I swear.
Yeah. So, I don't know if I should reveal this, but on my Magic thing, besides buying the what was it, that bundle of foundations? Actually, I didn't buy a bundle. I bought a whole box. I bought a box of foundation.
Mm,
I did it because I wanted the high rarity stuff to see if I got it.
right?
I didn't get anything. I didn't even get the card
Damn.
I was really looking for, which was the like the Black Knight, which like combos into an infinite loop.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Magic at the Infinites.
Because I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'll do that because this is like, oh, I totally love how this card is like, oh, because when you heal, your opponent takes that much damage, and there's a card also in the set which is like, when your opponent takes damage, you may heal.
Yeah.
So it
I'll
costs a lot
see.
because you have to set up, but it's like very much like when it's set up, it's over. But
Yeah, I mean, I'll see like an infinite combo like that. It's kind of pretty bad in Yu-Gi-Oh! Terms of cards like exact two cards
I mean,
and more than one turn.
just take him out for it. Oh wait, you're
Whoa,
not
a
playing a
two
deck
card
that's
infinite.
known for removal. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why. I don't know why all of a sudden this is the thing. But that's the whole point. The whole point I said like in the video because I did record it. I just haven't gone to edit it or do anything with it. The point is like I was trying to say, if I want to show that I kind of want Magic to focus more on its game, rather than just the collabs. I think the only thing I can do is support the part that's specifically made for Magic the Gathering, which is Foundations.
Right.
Right, this whole thing was supposed to be like, yeah, let's get standard back into a reasonable position because we've kind of been neglecting it for 8 years.
And then they put some like made for commander cards as like promos in Foundations anyway, which completely kills the entire point of Foundations.
Oh, I got jokingly upset at that when I opened it up at my locals. When I opened up a starter thing at locals, I'm like, are you serious? You couldn't go one product having this in
Yeah,
here?
we were laughing about that at the store too.
It's like, come on. Like, it was just funny. I'm like, dang.
Look, there's no helping standard at this point, besides like as a gateway.
I
That's
mean,
it.
they could have just. I mean, I think they really did a lot of good things with it.
I mean, they did, but like,
I
I think it's
just,
like an inevitability, right?
I think it's not really. Oh, I think it's really not Standard's fault with this. Hold on,
No,
actually. It's not Wizards. It. How am I trying to say this? It is and is it Wizards' fault because they basically turned Magic Gathering into Standard, the game. I mean, into Commander, the game, with how they've been just slurping out the nuts the entire time.
right, but like
But very much like it's just
it was inevitable. Like they made Playground Yu-Gi-Oh into a distilled card game format that not even Yu-Gi-Oh could do.
yeah. So really, it's just kind of like the culture around Magic just kind of has to change in a while, which you know that can always that always depends with time. So as long as they just
I don't
drop
know if I,
good Magic standard sets that make Standard fun to play, I think they could find a way to kind of like meet in the middle here somewhere.
true, but like I mean, the problem is that it's eternal versus non-eternal format, right?
That is true.
Like standard's always going to lose to having to update your deck.
I mean, you say that,
Yeah,
but then we look at Vanguard, where literally we basically rotated
Vanguard is
toward.
losing itself right now. I don't think you want to bring Vanguard into this conversation.
What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
Vanguard is losing to itself right now.
Hmm, that is an interesting topic for another episode. But it's like literally like you literally can't even. Oh boy.
Like, can we do like a trade offer?
What?
We get Mark Rosewater for a year. Watsy gets Kidani for a year. And we just see what happens. Just switch leagues for like.
See, here's the thing. Mark Rosewater is meant to design cards. Hidani runs the whole company.
Kidani doesn't leave the card development room, and we both know this.
All I'm saying is,
I
that
know
is,
there's a difference.
you're trying to kill Magic the Gathering. They will die. Like, unless he locks in, I don't know how you take current Mark Rosewater and current Kadani and you make that a good trade deal. That will look like, I forgot. That's like trading the number one pick to for Greg Odom. Like, what? It's like I wouldn't do that even if it was him and it was prime college Greg Odom. No. And like he was actually a good player who wasn't getting hurt all the time. You lost your mind with that. Sorry, no.
Look, I just want to see Vanguard under different leadership.
Again, different topic we could use to discuss later. I'm just saying.
I know.
Speaking of topics, let's probably I think there's like Is there anything else you want to say about your magic escapades?
Well, I don't know. I've been researching commander decks to bring for next time. Because I'm like, need something to bring.
Well, I might be right there with you because I went to one of my locals and they had singles of the most controversial release of 2024 right now.
SpongeBob?
2024.
No, My Little Pony was like 2021.
Or I picked up singles of Storm.
Oh.
Yes, X-Men Storm, the Marvel Secret Lair. They had the Secret Lair
Yeah.
in Coco in stock.
That's...
Don't
Huh.
I will not disclose said locals for I'm not sure about the details, but it was like, oh, it's just cool. But the thing is, the Storm one is I had to look it up. Storm by herself costs the price of the Secret Lair.
Does Storm have any storm-based effects?
Yes. She has Flying Vigilance, and I had the card here in the box. Let me see. She also has open the box. That's a token. That's another token. Where the heck is this dang card? What? Hello? Okay, here it is. As Flying Vigilance and Ceaseless Tempest. Whenever Storm deals combat damage to a player, the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn has Storm, which is when you
Works
cast
for
it.
me.
Which is when you cast it, you copy this. You copy. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble. I'm in the dark, so I'm like trying to read it. You can cast it. You copy it for each spell you cast before it this turn. You may choose new targets for that card. So basically, you just dump a bunch of spells, like low cost spells, and then tag a storm, deal damage, and then cast another spell. That spell is gonna go sicko mode,
Nice.
which is probably why also the Jessica's Will from that set is still $20, which is basically if you can choose one of these, or if you have a commander, you do both, which is you gain fire mana for each card in your opponent's hand, or you mill the top 3 cards of your deck. You can cast any of those cards this turn. So basically,
Yeah,
it's just
actually,
like,
my Storm is an expensive card.
yeah, so you just use Jessica's Will, basically just like, oh, I can potentially cast everything this turn. And just potentially blow you out. Which I haven't actually like made a deck for it or anything. I just have them because Storm is, I gotta respect the sister,
Right.
So that's basically it. Um, and to kind of tie back into the theme of this episode, I also went on a gigantic tear of buying a bunch of Gunpla.
Hell yeah.
Like, I'm not even joking. I've bought 2 Verkos and like 3 high grades this week from my area. Because I went to another locals and they had the Wing Zero Furcaw, which is amazing because 1, I didn't think that was around, and 2, it reminds me of when I went to RTX 2016, didn't have a lot of money, and could not buy the, I think it was the limited edition Burka of the Wing Zero Endless Waltz.
Hmm.
I think it was the, actually, I think it was the original Wing Zero instead of the Endless Waltz version. But it was
I'm actually like one place I used to go
it was
where
a,
like they would always have the high grade Neo Xeon on display. I'm like, I will buy you.
yeah. So I just bought it for myself because I'm like, why not? I also went to Hobby Lobby and saw they had the wait, was it Hobby Lobby? No, it was not Hobby Lobby. It was the Michaels, and they had the regular new Gundam Burka. So I bought that. I still
They have
have,
Gunpla at Michael's.
yeah. I That's also where I found the NT1, and I'm not
Screw it, I'm
talking.
going to Michael's.
And I'm talking about the narrative. I mean the Alex. It's just
Right.
called the NT1 still. But like I found that and
Good.
it was cool. They also had like I think it was the Exia. No, it wasn't the Exia. They had the Quanta, the Master Grade Quanta there. But I was like, nah, I'm alright pushing it.
Hmm.
Because they don't really have a connection to the Quanta like that.
Fair.
So yeah. So now I've got. Oh, also, did I say I had the Zeta Verkov still in my backlog too? Like I've got a crazy backlog of stuff that I'm like, I have not done this yet. So let me one turn on the lights and then also just point out what I do got. All right, so so on my backlog, I have the Victory 2 Assault Buster, the high grade, the high grade NT1, the Alex. I've got the high grade Immortal Justice, the master grade Shenlong, the high grade Calibarn, the high grade Aerial Rebuild, the real grade Wing Gundam, and who is this? The Zakutu from 8th MS Team, and I have also I just finished the Plutine I bought, and the Lupus Rex high grade, and um, on the way, because I had ordered this about 3 days ago, is the Figurized Choo Choo. Do I have the list? Hold on, let me find it real quick. Thank goodness I don't have any like connections to my YouTube or any of that. Switch up. It is the. Oh, that's not it. Is that not where it is? Okay. It should be here. Just take a second. Yeah. Okay, so I have the Figurized Choo Choo on coming through, and the Mars 4 Core Gundam. Both it and the weapons. Finally, they were out of stock for a while, and I've got the Miorine and Avatar Fumina also sitting in the back too. So
Of course.
why you say of course?
Don't worry about it.
All right, so uh, we're gonna have to probably take a quick break because I need to use the restroom. So we will be right back.
Yeet.
And we are back. Sorry about that. So, is there anything else you want to add to your thing?
There's a bit of other silliness today.
Hmm.
Turns out I might have the gift of prophecy.
What do you mean by that?
So, like, earlier today, right? My coworker's like on the call with the guys. The guy's like, all right, I'll be here by like 5:30 on the dot. And I'm like, he's gonna be here at like 5:59. Dude shows up a few hours later at 5:55. And my coworker's just mad at me.
Hmm.
Cause I'm like, I knew he showed up like right before close. And, you know, we've stuck there for like another like 10 minutes waiting for things to end because like another person came in at like 5:59 as well. Oops.
I see. Okay, I thought you were gonna talk about Kendrick just dropping an album out of nowhere.
Ooh.
Kendrick? Kendrick Lamar?
Oh.
Did you not know he dropped today?
No.
Yeah, man, just dropped an album. Literally, as I got home, he drops a video, a minute long video, and then not even like I go on Discord and I'm like, okay, what the heck is going on? That's this, and then before it's all said and done, freaking, oh, he dropped the whole album. It's like, what do you mean he dropped the whole album? He just dropped a video. Yeah, the album's out.
It just happens.
Like, I love how people were doing the jokes about, man, he probably really got salty over so many people saying, oh, how can you be the rapper of the year and he ain't drop an album? He said, all right, here you go. There you go. You're good. No more debates.
There we go.
Like, people were literally having to stop what they were doing to record reactions. If you know who Big Quint is, the fact that it made him actually say, you know what, I gotta stop hyperventilating and get back and get my get to actually record and stuff.
All
Right, so on that note, I think we're almost an hour in. We need to get to the actual topic of the show. Okay, we keep doing this. Well, technically, we're not really an hour in, but it's still like, dang.
It's at the point of this podcast. Did not have a point.
I would like to, I would like to at least stay on topic more than like and have a show that doesn't end in 3 hours. Both times. Not to mention the fact that the first episode couldn't even get uploaded because my computer literally doubled the length of it because I made so many cuts. It's like I don't know what the heck was happening there. I need to figure that out later, but
Shenanigans over afoot.
yeah. I had to upload it raw for the first episode. But anyway, that's basically it. I would have said, we're gonna do it next week if I went to BCS, but I did not. I chose not to go this year. At least not to Houston.
Yeah, fair.
For the simple fact that it would cost me way too much money because I can't drive all the way to Houston. Just don't have it in me, and so I would have to either taken a flight or gone with someone else. But I'm too shy for that too shy for the latter, and that's too much money for the former. So, but I will try and probably do. I have been looking in like probably like Tampa or everything or something else because I'm like I feel like I should go. If not the world, at least travel to a location to try and actually make worlds. actually put
If
in
only
effort
there was
this
like
time.
an online platform where like people across the world can like compete for a world spot digitally without all the travel fees involved.
Yeah, but that thing doesn't exist. So anyway, uh, we should probably talk about what's gonna happen tomorrow. Speaking of things that are happening tomorrow,
Oh yeah.
so remember last podcast where I jokingly said that if
Not just a bad time to
Zeta
switch to a Theos model.
Zeta reached 310 followers uh on his Twitch page, we'd probably do a Nikkei stream.
Yeah, that did happen.
Yep, that happened. So tomorrow at what time?
Uh, Good question. I mean, I normally stream around like 3 p.m. on Saturdays.
Sometime around 3 p.m. Central. We will on his channel at ZetaZephyr VT, which will be in the description below. I think probably by the time I upload this, you will probably have not known about it, but because I'm late and I'm going to work on probably making or setting up a new channel for the podcast or reconstructing an old channel or something. But
And getting us all those podcast services.
yes, so that means at 3 p.m. I will have him react to at least almost every Nikkei in the game so far. We will go through as many as we can when the time frame he, if anything shows up, obviously we'll probably do a part 2 later, or if it goes really late, obviously that's the whole case. But very much,
There
he
can't be
will
that many
see
designs.
every divine intervention will come through and decide the fate of that thing. But I'm going to show him every Nikkei in the game at the current time. Skins, TBD. Because there's a lot of skins, surprisingly. This game has only been around for 2 years.
It's not surprising at all.
But I have a deal for you, sir.
Oh.
And I mean this with all honesty. If there are 5 designs in Nikkei that you actually unironically like, I need you to play up to chapter 6 on your stream.
What am I getting out of this deal?
Well, for one, you'd have 5 characters you'd actually want to pull for. 2, which is also good because, uh, they all just get put into the overall banner anyway, and there's a mechanic that allows you to pull for them specifically. So 1, you will have a higher chance of hitting your quote-unquote specific waifus. 2, I want you to actually give Nikkei a fair shake.
I've streamed this game before, right?
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
When?
Like 2 years ago.
Were you even
Not
around
like
2
a year
years ago?
Almost.
Almost. Uh-huh. How far did you get?
Like chapter 2.
Well, then good. Keep going to chapter 6.
I'm good.
No, you ain't. You better. All right. We'll figure out a better deal for you to get back up to chapter 6. Okay. But at the point, the whole thing is, yes, next week he will, tomorrow at the time of this recording, he will do a stream where he sees every current Nikkei and gives his opinions on them. Everything else be damned. And on that note of potentially objectifying women, let's talk about a couple series that actually have a bunch of women in them. That's such a bad.
Wow.
Oh, that was terrible. I couldn't find a way. I couldn't find a way.
You want to just like cut? You want to just like cut that out?
No.
Of the pod?
I already gotta cut one thing. I'm not gonna do it. You know how much I hate editing. There's a reason like half the videos I want to do are just still stuck in the gulag. Like, bro, I still haven't actually recorded the freaking rewrite of Will Dress. Like, it is mostly done, and I still have not touched it yet. Still not recorded and touched it. Okay, because I do not like editing.
You know the rewrites keep the episode count, right?
Shut up. Listen, I tried. I really did. I have to basically like kick out the episode count because there actually is no way to make that story work the way it kind of needs to, or how I feel like it needs to, by keeping the episode count.
Not, I mean, if you think about the 3-act play structure, all you need, just have to have like 4 episodes per like
Here's the
major story, and then like a closing part, epilogue.
I mean, I could find a way to do it, but it kind of also like I need to figure out a way to. There's a lot of like story bit. If I want to do just Will Dress season 3,
Like half the cast.
like half the cast needs like legitimately a little bit more screen time. Sophie quite literally has no screen time for me to work with,
Right.
and she ends up being on at the Diddy party. I don't know what else to tell you, bro. Like she's borderline
Yeah.
like she's in the gutter for screen time, and because of it, she's effectively she's one way ticket to meet Chris Hansen. I don't know what else to say, bro. Like it's hard.
You're finding so many ways to be around the bush here. It's almost impressive.
What am I supposed to say? I'm just saying she is at a point where she should not be near a playground right now. I'm just saying.
There we go.
I can't say the actual word, okay? Because I don't want Twitch or YouTube when I put this up to do something to our to the channel, okay? I'm trying to keep my bases covered. Just because you don't
Well,
upload
the
to your
lady's on a watch list.
just because you don't watch you don't put stuff on your content on your channel anymore doesn't mean that I should cater to you, sir.
Fair.
But anyway, on to the main topic of today's episode before I butchered the transition. We are going to talk about the current state of Gundam by using both Witch from Mercury and Requiem for Vengeance, the new main AU Gundam series and the new UC era Gundam series, respectively. As kind of
Speaking of butcher transitions, which are Mercury.
Alright, so how are we going to actually talk about Witch from Mercury? So, for one, in case you have not watched Witch from Mercury, I suggest you go watch it. It's still a good show for most of it. And I think you could find at least season 1. I think give season 1 a try and see how you like it. But to kind of put it like this, the main premise of Gundam Witch from Mercury is you have our main character, Soletta Mercury. Funny. Go to a school, and through wacky hijinks ensue, in which she is now put into a battle, in which the lead, in which she and a major character at the school, named Miorine, the girl I talked about having a Figma of, or like a model kit of, are now engaged to be married.
Hey, Zechs, random question.
Yes.
Well, how fast would this video get flagged if I started blasting the U10 opening through my microphone?
You do that, and I will blast you with a cannon. You will look like the tomato paste.
I just had to ask, no reason in particular.
Listen, I'm just saying, no, not this time.
I'm set. Alright.
But yes, the whole point of the show, the whole conceit of the show is Soletta now must, one, actually build a relationship with Miorine, and two, keep winning tournaments keep winning fights in her Gundam, the Ariel, to stay the top student at the school, which will allow her to eventually marry her. That is the
Yeah, that's pretty.
main thing in the show. I probably did a terrible job summarizing it, but again, just go watch the show because one, this might be a slightly spoiler. Actually, it's gonna be spoilery. It's,
It's gonna be all sorts of spoilery.
I will try to limit the spoilers I do so that people can actually like go in blind. But
I mean, if you want to give reviews on retrospective, something you got to go in.
let's just say if you enjoyed the first hour of this first 35 minutes of this podcast, thank you for watching. You might have to leave now.
Yeah. I suggest you get out. Things will get a lot more inflammatory from this point onward.
Inflammatory is a crazy word.
I know, right?
All right, so
I have some opinions.
be entering the spoiler count in 3, 2, 1.
ZetaZephyr. I'm not singing it. I'm the spirit channel.
Anyway, so I've noticed with I think the most recent things of Gundam I've noticed, like, they are all mostly okay, except there's just one insane choice in the writing direction that just kind of messes up the entire show or the entire thing. Like, remember when I was talking about Gundam Breaker?
Yeah.
The actual plot of Gundam Breaker 4 is insane to me how they basically just try. Let's just try and do build divers again.
Yep.
And it doesn't work either.
It really doesn't.
Like, I was like, nah, I can give it a shot because it's cool. And then it's like they revealed the backstory of the main villain, and it's like, is this some sort of? And then I just had to go and look. It's like, so why did you design him like this? Like, why does the main villain look like an evil, like, super henchman, has the name Chaos, but he has the most reasonable backstory and reason for doing it, even if it's a stupid plan?
See, here's the problem. I mean,
Like,
this is arguably the problem with the entire Breaker series in general, is that at some point, it remembers it has to advertise Gunpla and be a silly haha advertisement for Bandai's massive machine. So the plot just kind of have to fold over in on themselves.
But it didn't
Every
have
time.
to. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
do you not remember Gundam Breaker 3?
No.
Where they had... So for the final fight in Gundam Breaker 3, oh no, big spoilers or whatever.
Of a game people can't play. Unless they import it.
Out of nowhere to go. The evil computer AI system. The game came in like 2016. Haha, funny, right? How things change.
Huh.
It's like, main character, you are so badass. I know exactly how to defeat you. I will now create the high-graded Neo Zeong with your gunplay at the center of it. Now buy our toys. Like, there comes a point where like the story has to stop for the shilling.
That's so funny because that's what they basically do in this
I know.
game too. Yeah. Like, what they do with Lilith has got to be the most. Damn, y'all really had no ideas, did you? Like, it's just like it really just feels like they were like, oh wait, we forgot to have a plot. Shoot. Hey, just steal build divers again.
I mean, Gundam Breaker 3 until it was just Build Fighter, so yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but it's like, it just messed up because then it's like literally when they happen, like 18,000 plot points happen. For example, like the Meister Jin is teased to be like the MC from, was it Breaker 3 or something?
Yeah,
Be the MC of Breaker 3. We get
and
the
they did him
reveal
dirty
of
in this game.
who Mr. Gunpla, the Mr. Gunpla that's been like joining us really is, and it's, was she from
The
Breaker
plot
3 or was it she from
she's from Breaker 3. The plot between those two characters is hilarious. If you want me to describe like how Gundam Breaker 4 ends up, all right.
I mean, are you talking
This
about
also goes
pre
into the
or
battle
post
log.
DLC?
Pre.
Okay, because I haven't done the DLC yet.
I still have to play the DLC, but like,
Like
so
I
in
got
Gundam
through.
Breaker
I'm
3,
not gonna lie. I got through one chapter of the DLC. I'm like, I literally fell asleep afterwards. I don't know if that was because I was tired. I was
yeah,
like, ooh, I'm not in it today. I can't do it.
right. It's like it's in a small town. She finds some like dude on the side of the road, and it's like, hey buddy, you wanna, I don't know, play some Gunpla or something? And this dude turns out to be some crazy savant off the side of the road. Revitalizes an entire small town and everything. Stops the satellite from crashing the Earth. Whole weird
Excuse me.
stuff there. Gundam Breaker 3 gets pretty wild. It's great. 10 out of 10 game. And
Okay.
then he kind of just becomes champion of the world and just ditches her for like a few years. Which
Hmm.
is when like the battle log happens. And apparently between the battle log and like Gundam Breaker 4, he comes back, gives her a custom gunpla he's made for her as an apology, and she just throws it in like a drawer somewhere until Gundam Breaker 4.
In which she doesn't even use it. She gives it
Right,
to her cousin.
and he's like, oh, ah, jeez.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Both of them thought they were something going. They had a chance, and they just different times. Like no.
Okay, so from what we're saying, like she had a crush on him,
Yes, and then he
then
left,
he left, and she just kind of moved on.
but then he came
But then
back.
he came back and had a crush on her,
Right.
and now it's just kind of and just now it's just kind of this weird. So could they get together? But they're just like she's just like, hey, listen, I'm good.
Right.
To be fair, considering how like Gundam Breaker 4 kind of sets up that's her storyline, it could be like she was probably like having to deal with Lin.
Mm-hmm.
So that probably is like one of the things. Like I can't deal with you right now. I got to deal with my family member who is going through it.
And he's, having to deal with fighting off chaos and whatever he's up to.
So it's just like, oh, you know what? This is the best I got.
Wait for the final DLC for the conclusions of this plot line.
I'd be surprised if they actually do complete it though,
Right.
because I'm like, that is that's a cut you're trying to ask people who probably never played a Gundam Breaker before in their lives to kind of care about. Though to be fair, if you're still playing Gundam Breaker at this point, you
Yeah.
probably have played
I don't know.
3.
Wait for Gundam Breaker 5, I guess.
Just like in Tekken, you gotta wait for Tekken 9 to figure out what the hell's going on.
I'm still say Tekken 9. Every new character should just be the rest of Heihachi's children.
I mean, at this point, because
No other new
bro.
characters.
So if we're gonna spoil something, let me spoil that DLC story. There is a high probability, and this is actually kind of a leak that kind of happened back when the game was coming out. Someone was talking about like, oh, the time machine that was supposedly something in like Tekken Tag 2 or like Street Fighter Cross Tekken that that was a thing, that was a plot point, might come relevant. And I'm like, that can't be true. That I don't know how. And I'm like, okay. And we went through the main story. And that didn't happen. The DLC story comes out, and they're talking about this legendary Mishima that unlocked the super move all those years
Oh no,
ago.
not Grandpappy Mishima.
And like only one person is able to do it. And of course, Heihachi unlocks it and regains his memories. Which, by the way, he didn't have his memories. He got saved from Rukino, and then just his memories got locked away, so that he would probably become a good guy. But when he but literally right as he unlocks it, he gets all his memories back, and solos Lydia, Eddie, and Yoshimitsu with ease.
I mean, to be fair, Yoshimitsu's kind of washed on like the third Yoshimitsu at this point, I'm sure.
And so I did research on this. They, in the little like secret file you get when you beat the little story bit, they talk about how this was back during the time when there was a two-wielding swordsman, a dual-wielding swordsman that sailed the seas. And I'm like, who are you talking about?
Not Cervantes. Please no.
And I remember Heihachi was technically in Soul Calibur. Was it 2?
We're not doing Soul Calibur cross tech.
There is no, but the point is, I just sat there for a second. I'm like, are they trying to say that Heihachi's journey in Soul Calibur was not only canon, it set up a plot point for the future?
I mean, Soul Calibur became kind of canon because Yoshimitsu being a separate Yoshimitsu from the same clan as Soul Calibur Yoshimitsu.
I mean, yes.
It's
that's why I'm like, that is probably the thing. That possibly means that Heihachi learned the move back in Soul Calibur. That move was then like passed down, or at least attempted to be passed down, but no one could figure it out. And he's the one who figures it out and gets his memories back, and is now planning to just crash out on the world. Man. That is some Madara Uchiha levels of bullshit I don't know what to do with. There ain't no way this is what Soul Calibur has become to. Soul Calibur is now the basis for Tekken 9.
I mean, this kind of reminds me of something that happens in an Ultraman series where it turns out the dude turned himself into an Ultraman via self-fulfilling time paradox.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Ultraman lore goes from haha funny to you guys have written too much of this now.
You guys snorted too much cocaine. Trying to stay up and write all this stuff. Okay. But it's just like, dang. Like man, it gives me almost the same feeling as back when I finished DOA 6, in which that whole plot is, yeah, we revived Rhino, the main villain of the first game, who has not appeared since because he's been dead, only to then kill him in the one and only mission he exists in. But no, the whole purpose of that was for a long con, set the main villain of the series revives Helena's mother because he was so madly in love with her.
And I think that Itagaki was just kind of phoning again for Dead or Alive 6. Like, he knew what was about to happen to the series.
No. Itagaki wasn't on 6. He left after 4.
Oh. Well, that explains a lot, actually.
And this is after 5, which people say like 5 is like probably like one of the best of the modern ones. Because the game not only has to, because the story not only has to do that, it now has to retcon in Hanukkah and explain her deal. It has to explain Marie Rose. it has explained Neo Tengu. Like the one thing that last round did, which kind of might have effed up the series, is like a good 4 or 5 characters that were added in DOA 5 post, uh, DOA 5 post the base game, don't have stories. They're just there. Neo Tengu's just there. Uh, Phase 4 kind of is just there, but she has a reason there. And Hanukkah Marie Rose just show up in last round, and they have no story. And it was like, but like Hanukkah has the same powers as Rhino, somewhat.
I feel bad for anyone that has to write a fighting game story.
I mean, I feel like the issue is usually like, you're okay when it's like you've been on the team and you know these characters. I think the problem with DOA 6 is like you now have to not only write with characters you didn't write with for years, you now also have to kind of add in the new characters you add in too, and it's just gonna feel awkward.
Like, I feel like you have to, like, I don't know, write a whole lot of extra lore with some, like, characters already, like,
Because, again,
built into the setting, if that makes sense.
yes, but it's also just like Ryu Tengu is connected, assumedly, to the Tengu villain in DOA 2. They introduced the Tengu villain in DOA 2, and the next time we see a Tengu is in 5 and 6, and we have nothing. Like, quite literally, Neo Tengu is DLC for 6. But you technically just get her if you just pre-order the game, basically, or just, like, buy it off rip. And she has a story, but her story is literally nothing. To tell you how nothing it is, she meets up with Lei Fang, and she just whispers in her ear literally nothing. Like literally, like you hear it just like it's like, but but also,
Wow.
and more than that, and then she just flies off, doing the obviously the cunning laugh, like it's just like what? What just happened? And that's the most interesting her story gets.
Wow.
But it's like that's nothing to the fact that you now have to retcon in Marie Rose and Hanukkah into the story. It's like, what are they?
Right.
Because if you play 5, Marie Rose's whole deal is like she's a lot more mysterious. She's a lot right. She's very much like, oh, I'm playing around the whole thing, right? She gives up that feel of like I'm definitely more than I seem. 6 just says, what if we just made her the uwu waifu girl? And she's just actually like the maid of Helena.
Yeah, they were already preparing for the gacha game.
Which the only thing that seems interesting is that she has a connection to Mist, maybe, but we will never know. Unless they finally decide to make another DOA game with the new 2,500 stab members they plan on, like, hiring. Because that came out, like, yesterday, that they were going to double their workforce.
Koei Tecmo?
Yeah.
I mean, probably for Dynasty Warriors 10. I mean, yeah, 10.
But they have Origins already good. They don't need to do that. What do they need 2,500 people for Origin? For Dynasty Warriors 10?
I mean, for the game after Origins, when they had to introduce like another like 60 characters back into the game.
But
Origins is like getting the playable cast to make, an actual like game out of Dynasty Warriors again. It's like we kind of need the rest of the roster back for the actual next number title.
But I'm just saying, I'm just saying, like, I would love another DOA game. We're talking about Gundam, by the way. We just...
See, you filmed for my trick of a wild tangent.
listen here, Drowsy, you were not getting me with it. It was a trick. I deceived you, type of bit. No. What happened is we went through a rabbit hole. The whole point I'm trying to say is they messed up Marie Rose and he just turned Hanukkah into, oh, you're actually the real daughter of Rhino, the main villain. Which means you are now half sisters with Ayane. Which means you are now important.
You know what I think the problem is with all these games?
And then proceeded to also just never, which is so funny because again, like you saw the new DOA Venus game, right? The fact that Hanukkah and technically Tamaki, even though she is a Venus OC, are the only two characters from the fighting games.
Yeah, right.
Is like, damn, y'all really just don't have, y'all have nothing. Ryu Hayabusa is your poster child, and y'all don't give a damn.
Fighting games are too obsessed with legacy villains.
I disagree. Listen, I disagree.
We need to drag everything. We need to drag everything back to Heihachi. We need to drag everything back to Raito. We need to keep bringing Bison back.
No, but here's the thing. Literally up until last round, where they just added him as just like a this is what I'm just confused. Is like, were they planning on doing this? They were probably planning on doing a story, but probably just didn't mess up the draft somewhere because
it was called Last Round for a reason.
Yeah, but it's like you added like 2 new characters. It's like, who the heck are they? It's like you added.
I think someone just gave them the letter saying, "Hey guys, we're uncanceling Dead or we're unending Dead or Alive. You guys get one more game." It's like, we do? Shoot.
It's like, yeah, y'all.
I'm never gonna make another Ninja Gaiden game.
I mean, I heard 3 is booty cheeks, but I don't know. Of Ninja Gaiden, the remake series, but I don't know. I haven't played Ninja Gaiden. I should. But really, it's just kind of things like they never touched a single past villain outside of Alpha, and that's mostly because Alpha's just been on the loose. They've been kind of planning on trying to finish that off, and Victor, right? In fact, it's ironic because 5 kind of story kind of sets it up to be like, oh, this next game might be the conclusion of the DOA storyline. Only for 6 to kind of start off with, oh, Kasumi's gonna go hunt down Victor Donovan and put an end to this. 6 starts off, she's just chilling home.
I kind of wonder about like fighting game like plots and like big climatic moments. I wonder if they're just also scared of like doing what Soul Calibur 5 did.
You mean
like we're gonna keep pushing the timeline forward and forward and forward at like a slower and slower pace so we don't get to a full-on next generation game again.
But Tekken 3 did that and it worked.
Yeah. Like it worked once. Like even Street Fighter 6 feels like they want 7 to be the game. Where they're like, alright, we can do the thing, finally, maybe. We need Chun-Li to be like 70 years old and still fighting though.
Well, I mean, the thing with Street Fighter 6 is that it's supposed to be the sequel. No, what's the difference is Street Fighter 6 is supposed to be a sequel to Street Fighter 3 in the timeline.
Right.
But there's no Street Fighter 3 characters in 6.
Uh-huh.
Like, Elena, it will be the first Street Fighter 3 character. Sakura's not even here. Well, technically, Sakura's not a 3 character, but she feels like a 3 character.
No one remembers Rival School. She may as well be a...
I mean, they put Akira in Street Fighter 5. I'm like, dang, you could have like put her in there too. I'm thinking of Ibuki. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But like Ibuki's not there. The Yan twins, the twins aren't in there either. Uh, who else? Like Remy, no one. Like you made a whole new cast, added in the World Warriors, and said, "Yeah, that's our roster." And then, and it's like Ed is all right because Ed kind of has a little bit of stuff that needs to be taken care of, but it's like, how on earth is Bison here before the first Street Fighter 3 character?
I'm so sick of Bison.
Like, I mean, I kind of want to rant too. It's like I really thought he was cool. I thought what they did with him was interesting this time, but it's like,
It's like Sigma and Mega Man X. They have to keep finding a million ways to bring the same dude back.
but it's like, damn, you really like. At least it's better than what they. At least they gave you a season without him, and it's like they're like, hey, he might come back. Listen, at least Heihachi on the other hand, they didn't even make it to the end of the season.
Heihachi is dead.
Completely dead. Man, said that it's completely dead, 100% dead. Said that to our face.
They said it.
And I bet one of the only reasons he was brought back is one, because of course he's a galactic troll, but two, probably because Bandai Namco was like, motherfucker, you know we need money.
Heihachi will be dead after you are.
He will literally outlive the creator. You know, not
It's like over your dead body.
It's just, yeah, but it's like, it's so funny because I think back to, again, I think like the only, it's so weird how like probably the only series that probably figured out how to deal with their main antagonist and move on is both of the Arxis big titles.
Yeah.
Because BlazBlue actually finished. And I'm not just talking about, oh yeah, they got cooked by like the multiple issues of like people like not, their missteps with BB tag in terms of the logistics around it, as well as the Dark War effectively like being a failure of a gacha game.
At least there's that roguelike.
Which is funny. Like you know the story behind it. Did I ever tell you the story about behind what happened to Dark War and why it probably just gonna recover after a year? It was, I think it was the Hawkman banner, or the Hawkman banner, or the original Terami banner. They had Hawkman Terami or Terami, I forget. And what happened was the rates for, it was like early into the launch, I think year 3. Like they were actually on a decent thing at that point. But then what happened is the rates for the Hawkman banner, or that banner specifically, just kind of going generically here because I can't remember which one it was. That banner was actually bugged to the point where no one had the character except like one person. People spent a bunch of money on this character because this is a very important character. Again, Hawkman and Terami are in peril. Like they probably, if BlazBlue was a higher known IP, this would be the equivalent of them releasing a Firefly. And you know how much money Firefly made, right?
Yeah.
Like this was their Firefly moment, and the banner was so bugged. I think like only like 3% of players actually had him. They burnt all their savings, their money, everything. They knew he was coming. They spent it on him because he was really good, and they didn't get him.
Yeah, that would kill a game, yeah.
And not only that, there was no pity system at the time either, because like, oh, you should be able to get him. At least I don't think there was. There was probably, but it was probably like really hard to do. I don't remember, but it's like they basically like probably just hit pity at best. And it's like no one got him, and it was just like it was so bugged they had to refund everybody, and then no one really went back to get the character. That's really what happened to Dark Wars. Just like they could not recover from losing almost millions of dollars. Excuse me, almost millions of dollars.
See, this is why I kind of wish more gacha games would be like Olympus Company. Because here's how Olympus Company does banners, right? And this is gonna sound mind blowing to anyone that hasn't played it. Alright? Every character in that gets released in a season, you can pull them via the banner. Or you can just grind currency in a dungeon and just spend that currency to directly get the character. No gacha pulls required.
Oh yeah.
And then every previous limited character, like after that season, the character goes like a 1 season gap where you can pull those characters. But in the next season, you can just use the same currency again to just get those old limited characters again.
I mean,
No gacha pulls required.
that kind of is, I won't say similar how Nikkei does it, because I just talked about it earlier. They have the general pool where every character gets put in that unless they're like specifically limited, like collabs or like
Right.
holiday events or
Uh-huh.
thing, right? So it's like you can literally get any character so long as you just except pilgrims, because that's technically like a lore thing. It's like, oh, you can't specifically get pilgrims in your wish list, right? You can, like, you put them on the wish list. You can put like 5 characters from each manufacturer in the wish list, and in the standard banner, they will be, every time you hit an SSR, they will be from your wish list, unless it's a pilgrim, in which case they will replace that SSR.
Right. But now if there was no pulling needed.
I mean, yeah, but it's like, if you're gonna do a system, I think it's also a good system too. It's just like you can still get any character. You don't have to worry about it outside of the holiday ones, which
Right.
are just funny
Like
because, like, man,
the meta in that game has actually completely turned from like pooling for characters to mostly people spending all their like currency on energy refills to keep grinding the thing so they can unlock every single character just from playing.
yeah.
It's kind of hilarious.
From what I hear, Limbus
People
does seem like a
ungacha
really cool
gacha
character.
game.
And staring at your screen and remembering we're supposed to be talking about Gundam.
Well, we're also talking about gacha games. That's on my EOS right now.
Are you about to transition back to Battle Log or Breaker Mobile?
Nope.
Or are we gonna talk about the metaverse?
I didn't even see that stupid metaverse show. I was like, I'm no.
I watched it all.
Man, that was too corporate even for me.
I watched it all, and I have never been so disappointed that a show was 4 episodes for my life. because the plot was so bare thin. It's like, oh, the character who has a cool design in, obviously hot waifu has a rival character who is her sister. Her sister has gone rogue in Gunpla battle, and basically is on her way to kind of just destroy the whole thing. I need you, protagonist, who is clearly weaker than me in every step of the way, to help me out with this.
Man, I think at some point we need
Oh,
to
and
realize that
also,
the build diversity, like the build series, kind of just peaked at Re-Rise, and now that studio's dead.
is that studio dead? I don't think the studio's dead.
They dug them and killed the studio after a meme. You
That
remember a meme? That terrible garbage?
A meme?
Well, a meme, Kyokai Senki, or whatever it was called.
No. Because the only thing I
Uh,
can talk about is like, are you talking about Eureka 7 or?
no, what was the show that came out in like 2001 from the same studio that did so poorly and the kids warmed so many shelves. Sunrise took that entire studio out back and shot it,
I don't know.
which means there goes the entire remains of Zebek as well.
But uh, the whole thing is basically, oh, that's basically the whole plot. Oh, and the Bill Divers Protect show up too. I guess the Bill Fighters Protect show up too. Like I think episode 1 is um no, actually I think it was 3 episodes. Was Metaverse 3 episodes? Oh my god. Yeah, it was 3 episodes because the first episode was uh Riku Riku shows up with Sarah. Episode 2 is uh uh um Hiroto and what's his name from Try? I'm forgetting his name. The MC from Try. And this is also where Avatar
That
Fumina
guy,
comes in. Sakai? Yeah, I think it's Sakai.
yeah.
Like he shows up at the last like 2 minutes of the episode. It's like, hey, I want to fight. Okay. We just had this whole thing with Hiroto. Well, okay. Just out of nowhere fighting. And the last episode was a battle royale uh in which Sei fights in the new build in a new strike in the new build strike. And then all of a sudden, Reiji comes back in the old, in his old Gunpla. It's like, how'd you get here? I don't know.
Every
He
build
literally
series
just
has
says,
been in
I
some
don't
big
know, but
dumb
I'm
final
here.
fight.
So he says, I don't know, but I'm here. And that's literally the entire reason he shows up. They don't have a reason.
Metaverse.
They don't have a reason. They don't have a reason. They look the entire same as they used to. And then they just start fighting. Meanwhile, the MC is fighting. The MC is fighting the sister, who turns out to be a new Lady Kawaguchi. Think she's like the eighth. She's Lady Kawaguchi the eighth, which is like, huh? Like, how many Lady Kawaguchis have there been? We've had like 4 for the male. How we had 8 already? How we had 8 for the females? That's crazy.
They keep quitting a job knowing they have to deal with Gunpla fans.
Oh boy. It's like, oh. Also, it's just like, man, does MC have the most boring build gunplay imaginable? Like it's just the RX-78 but black with a lance.
I mean,
It has nothing, and it's meant to be an entry grade, so it's like, damn, there's nothing about you cool. Like this could have been an interesting story, but it's like you got 3 episodes to do it. It's like you got to shove in, not even all the cameos. Somehow Maggie's butt has more screen time than like the entire rest of the build like main cast.
to be fair,
And
I don't know. I got nothing.
but anyway, I also forgot we're supposed to be on Witch from Mercury.
Which from who?
You know, the series that went well until they decided, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna end the show now.
I wouldn't exactly say it went well.
All right.
Because, like,
Well, first off, go ahead, get your rant off on Witch from Mercury. I'm just gonna listen.
alright. They need to stop hiring the Valvrave guy. I don't care. I don't care if he worked on Code Geass. That man has a thing I like to call Twitter writing.
Quitter
Alright.
writing.
Where you're organizing your episodes and you're plotting in such a way entirely to get people talking about your show on social media with no actual care for like plotting or characters or consistency or rhyme or reason. You just have that big moment in every single episode that makes people go gasp.
Oh,
And like Valkyrie was the exact same way.
I thought you said quitter writing because I'm like,
No, Twitter writing.
okay, because I'm like, I'll be like,
I
dang,
mean, kind of quitting towards the second season, but you know,
well,
even like season one had like several moments that just felt like they were there for like shock facts, shock value, that just kind of went nowhere.
I mean, I feel like I think season one of Witch Mercury actually did have a very solid. My mic going hit. Okay, yeah, it had a very solid setup. I think the setup was really good. You know,
I mean, yeah, the setup was fine, but like
I just think season
it
two
was
kind of
also
dropped the
just
ball.
Utena for like half the show.
I think season two just dropped the ball very much that we were like, this can't be the end of the show, right? We get like a third season, right? No, it's the end of the show. Like, and it's so crazy because it's like all of a sudden here comes the cool final Gundam that should be that normally would rely on the antagonist, and it belongs to the little brother Neil, and it's like, are you for real?
Like,
Like,
I don't know.
belongs to
Season one,
Lauda.
I will say, was much better, but like there were still moments where I'm like, we didn't need this, or like forced drama, I guess.
I mean,
And like you could tell they had like no clue what they were doing. Someone like say, well, right? Like they saw like they saw the first episode of 10 and were like, man, this was a banger. Let's do this for like 8 episodes. And it's like, so what do you do about this guy we left around? Oh, here's like 3 minutes every episode of him just doing random stuff.
his name is Bob now. Go.
Bob. Here's 3 minutes of Bob in every episode doing stuff that's not going to amount to anything.
I mean, it's so funny because like Gil just kind of ends up being like one of the best characters in the show by
I
complete
know.
accident.
It's
Because he
amazing.
actually
He's the best character, and and like
he's the
the
best
show
character.
hates him.
Like, yes, so funny. It's like he literally is the best character. He goes through actual character development. Like the second best character is obviously like Choo Choo because she's just a ride or die.
Right.
And they both just kind of do nothing. Like it's kind of ironic. It's like the show kind of almost feels like they remembered, like they went through season one and like, oh wait, the joke character and the guy we really just didn't want to exist are the two most important characters. Shoot, are the two most likable characters. Besides our MC. Oh no.
And I'm gonna be honest. I kind of don't like her MCs by the end of season two.
I don't think Soletta did anything wrong.
She didn't do too much wrong,
I just don't
but she
think.
also didn't
I
do
just don't.
enough.
I just think they just kind of wrapped up her arc a little too fast.
Like she has the same problem Mika has, where there's like almost no agency out of a main character.
Hmm. I mean,
But she's happier and like a lot, and
I think I
a
think
bit happy.
I think kind of the difference here is like I think this is probably one of the things that like people are like a lot more forgiving of Mika as opposed to like Soletta, I guess in that regard, is that at the very least, Mika has the rule of cool. Like when the Barbados is fighting, it's the coolest thing on screen.
Right.
Like, like legitimately, the Barbados commands your attention while you're watching the show, and Mika also commands your attention while he's in that Gundam. Like when he's in the white suit, he is the coolest character on screen. When he is not, everyone else is pulling up the work.
Uh-huh.
Which then leads to the people talking about Orga's actually the main character of IBO, not Mika. Right? It's like,
Which, yeah.
so that's kind of thing. Whereas Soletta is basically like Soletta is cool, but when she actually is out the Gundam, it very much is hit or miss for people. It's like, are you like this shy little girl trying to figure out things to do and trying to live a normal life, or you feel so annoyed by her that you just are like, ugh. It doesn't help
And
that,
don't.
and and this is kind of the part that's gonna be awkward thing. It's like it doesn't help that Murine also is just kind of unlikable at points. Like, like there's obviously a reason why she's doing what she does and why her personality is
Miorne
being the
doesn't
way.
have Orga's doomed swag, alright? Orga can carry, like, being dead meat on his back with pride. Miorne can't. She crumbles.
Damn, that's crazy.
Am I wrong?
I don't want to say you're wrong. I just think it very much is like,
Like, every time you're like, man, Miorne did something cool or whatever, either her dad or Soletta's mom shows them, it's like, sup? And then Miorne's like, ah! Every time.
yeah, again, it's more just like, again, this is why I say like that's why some people are confused. Like, why are we at the end of the show already? Like, I feel like we need to kind of spend like one more season with these characters all together because we've got the crew, we got the space crew, like we got our main cast, like we have our engineers, we have the people there, like we got our main side characters and Nina and Choo Choo, right? Like we got our secondary pilot in Choo Choo. We got our main engineer in Nina. We've got our kind of captain like figure in Murine, or that other dude who kind of took captain place. I forget his name. But it's like we had a
Like, what?
good roster of characters, but if they had at least a season to actually like do something besides just 3 episodes, and like they were all like together instead of like they were moving on their own for like at least a season, to be like, okay, we can do this and actually
Also,
develop from there, that would have been so much better.
it also kind of doesn't help that, like, the show didn't want to say anything.
I mean, there is one thing you want to say, and then Bandai said no.
Well, I mean, that, and I mean, true, but, like, everything else in the plot, the talk about transhumanism, the, like, things like transhumanism, the corporate warfare, the, like, whole thing with the setting and, like, the Earth and space dynamics, they just kind of go, like, man, here's a cool idea we can deal with, right?
Again, another season.
And we're shoving it in the closet.
The Dawn Fold, literally like after Gil's episode, where he like kind of like finally gets it together and starts making his way back up
Yeah.
to Earth. Like after that, that's the last point they actually are relevant until Sylvie crashes out.
And like the one guy that had like a keep forgetting the dude. Should he? It's like, all right, I'm gonna go tackle all this corporate corruption stuff and like destroy it from within.
Oh yeah,
And then
and then
yeah,
it's
I
so
guess I'll
crazy,
like pay for the crimes of all the adults that cause all the problems.
which is
Sure, and
like,
everyone goes off scot free in the retirement home. It's like,
like he gets kind of hoed. It's like, I understand, like, yeah, no, he he does a lot of bad things, but man ends up, but not enough to be like, oh, I'm probably gonna get the death penalty. So this might be the last time I ever see you. You know, this girl I've actually had a crush on forever.
Bro took the fall for the entire war machine that gets to stay driving.
Yeah, it's like nothing changed
And
technically.
Mjolnir purchased the war machine.
It is very complex with how the show just kind of handles nothing and everything at the same time.
And of all the people to be like, I'm done with the war machine, it's Bob.
Meanwhile, Nina literally works with actual terrorists, and all she got was a haircut.
Which from Mercury is a show that says nothing about a lot of things.
Oh.
Suletta's mom and all her war crimes and abuse and
Now
everything.
she gets to sit in
My
the field,
my,
watch
my
some
mom's
kids.
great. It's like my mom's great. She didn't do anything wrong. It's like
Eri, who turns out to be a ghost machine, just becomes a little toy doll.
also complicit in all the murder.
Yeah, just gets to live out in life. Which also is like, yeah, how did she live again?
How does every murderer walk away scot-free in Witch from Mercury?
Except the one who didn't murder anyone.
Right?
It's just like
What?
Shadiq. They literally just use Shadiq as the scapegoat for literally every character. Deling's in a coma for 98% of the show,
Right?
and then just wakes up to be like, "Hey, stop it now! I'm
The
done.
three
Stop
the
it now!"
three
And
pale
it's like,
ladies are just living out the plot of Golden Girls now.
and I'm also just like, damn, we really didn't get like they. I mean, props to Elon 5, Ellen 5, but like, man, he really didn't get into a Gundam.
What
He
was I guess the problem here? What was the point of Witch from Mercury besides Suletta and Mjolnir getting together haphazardly? Kind of. I needed a whole little more development of its own, in my opinion. But what's the point of the show?
there was no more. There really was no point when you think about it. At the end, it's just like in the end it amounts to nothing. But there was really like strong elements and themes that could have been gone crazy.
Like
But
I
they
feel
just
like that last scene from the final G-Reco movie, where it's just Bellry and like keep that one girl, and they're just in a tent going at. I'm like, I feel like Tomino watched Witch from Mercury, and it's like, I can one up this.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, like the final scene, like the final G-Reco movie, is like Bellry getting it on with like the main girl in a tent. It's like,
Huh?
yeah, it's pretty hilarious. That's just how G-Reco ends now. Deal with it.
I
Tomino's, Tomino's like, I can get away with whatever I want right now. I could be a lot less so than Wish for Mercury can.
was it movie 4 or 5?
5. Like
5.
the final one. Yeah. Like he changed the post-credit scene from like Tomino and Bell were going off to an adventure to the tent scene.
Okay. Well, that's
It's like,
interesting.
it kind of just summarizes Witch for Mercury. It's like, cool mobile suit fights. All right, main couple got together. All right, we're done here. Don't worry about anything else.
Yeah, it's like cool. And then Bandai's like, oh, actually, that's all up to interpretation, guys.
Yeah.
You what? You mean to tell me the one thing this show actually ended up doing, you still want me to actually know happened? So just like,
And they were roommates.
shoot, that's all they were apparently. That literally was all they were apparently, according to the hires. Which, man, it reminds me so much of of that review video I saw recently talking about G Witch. Talk real quick. Okay, I had to double check because I didn't do a sound check. I completely forgot about
Oh,
doing a
all right.
sound check. Once you get this talking discussion about Rich Mercury, and I was up with them, okay, up until the point where they talked about the up to interpretation bit, and he go. Keep in mind, he's the person that's been talking about. I don't want to say a person's name because I don't want to add more on the fuel to that fire, but they talk
Mhm.
about they talk about how they're an independent creator. They understand. They do this, do that, right? How much creation is important. So when it gets to that moment in which the whole up to interpretation comes into play, he basically goes, "Yeah, no, Bandai's right."
Oh,
Despite the fact that the writer, the voice actors, the all the artwork all says otherwise and has said
no,
otherwise because Bandai said it, and they are, as I quote, the client. They have final say, meaning everything else is invalidated.
I'm kind of surprised that Braven got away with what it did. A- After which,
Well, that's different. I mean, haven't seen Brayburn.
uh, two obviously gay protagonists and a gay robot from like episode one. They just roll with it the entire way through. No subtlety at all, no ambiguity. They just full fire it for like 12 episodes.
Hmm. Well, again, and adds more stuff to the stuff I need to watch. Like freaking ReZero's season 3 part 1 just ended.
You don't need to watch ReZero. You can escape the cycle. You don't need to be Toyota, all right?
I watched season 2.
You don't need to be Mitsubishi, all
I
right? There's
watched
always
all of
time to
season
bail.
2.
Look, I understand Kia Forte. You don't have to
ReZero
continue.
literally helped. ReZero and Combat Vanguard and Evangelion Rebuilds were the three pieces of anime media that helped my life during one of my darkest points in history.
All right, I understand Forza Motorsport
So
6, but
believe so
still.
believe me when I say ReZero season 2 was the most boring season I ever seen. Like it was okay, and then it's just like, bro, what is happening? There's too much stuff happening here. And we have not moved anything. We are still in the stupid village fighting literally a boss, which is just a bunch of rabbits. The main boss of season 2 is literally trying to figure out how to deal with an infinite supply of rabbits that eat everything.
See, this is why Shangri-La Frontier is gonna be is the peak of all pseudo Isekai stories.
Like
Watch Shangri-La
I think
Frontier.
season 2 hit me so bad. I haven't even watched Goblin Slayer season 2.
I keep forgetting Goblin Slayer season 2 even came out.
Apparently, everyone, bro.
Eh, Like,
But it's like, dang. I
Goblin
need to
Slayer's a
catch up on
weird
a lot of
one.
things. But man, I sat down to watch Requiem for Vengeance all the way through.
Same. I was like,
So I guess we kind of
smooth transition
transitioned.
into Requiem.
Yeah.
You
Now
you did it. You nailed the smooth
I say
transition.
that as affectionate because I do like Requiem for Vengeance. As a horror show, it's actually pretty nice. As a just
Requiem
a
for Vengeance is a great 5 episode series.
5 episode series,
Great 5 episode series.
but there's 6 episodes.
I know.
And let's be honest, if you're talking about you're not counting episode 6. Episode 6 is fine until the last minute of the show.
See, the problem with here's the problem with like Requiem for Vengeance, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get 5 episodes of Requiem for Vengeance and then 1 episode of Gundam at the end.
Oh, that's what you mean? It just becomes a regular Gundam show?
Yep.
I mean, I guess. But if we're talking about legitimately like a bad moment, it is that last
Yeah. Yeah.
minute. Like quite literally, once the Gundam goes down, so does the rest of the show.
I will say that last bit, that last bit at the end is like one of those more hilarious things in hindsight if you know anything about Gundam.
Yeah, which let's kind of talk about this. So, Requiem for Vengeance is a American produced Gundam series
Written by Warhammer fan.
made by made in Unreal Engine 5. The first Unreal show made in Unreal Engine. The second will probably be the Guilty Gear dual rulers
I'm not
anime.
gonna lie, that does not look good. I'm sorry.
I haven't seen anything of it. There's only been like
I
one little
saw I
preview.
saw like I saw one preview. I'm like, "Blah."
I need them to cook a little more. I feel like there's something that could be done. And plus, I'm not
Man's Farm
watching it.
could not look better than your anime.
I said I'm not here to look for the good animation. I'm here for the story bits. You go like there's a lot of things that you have to kind of like deal with right here. I'm here for the wedding, not the animation of said wedding. If there's some good animation there, that's cool. But I'm
I'm
not.
just saying, man, the fighting game shouldn't be more well animated than the anime.
I mean, technically, Alter Memory is better animated than Blaze Blue at points. But then again, Blaze Blue is a visual novel.
Sigh.
I miss Blaze Blue. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'm
Like
sure I'm sure Arcana Heart will come back first.
what?
Close enough.
Listen, man, I'm not doing well with fighting games. Okay, between Dead or Alive basically being in the perpetual gulag, Under Night being snubbed at the Game Awards. The character I've been waiting for since I started playing Grand Blue Rising, Wikala, is terrible.
Look, are you saying Multiverses didn't deserve to be fighting game of the year?
I'm saying you could suck my no, but
See, this is a great podcast, everyone.
the whole point is it's supposed to be it's a ground Regular Vengeance is a groundbreaking series for a lot of things, right? Which
Yeah.
is gonna be crazy because this is out of the potential three like American produced Gundam things, this is already the best. And yes, I'm already counting the movie because we've had to change whoever's doing the writing of the story now. We
And to
had
be fair, Savior was Canadian, all right. We do not need to take responsibility for those people up north, all right.
but also let's just put it like this. I think it's kind of crazy that Voltron might have a live action movie ready before Gundam does. They casted their main character and have a date for shooting.
Ooh, let me take. I'll be right back. Actually.
Okay, we will be right back, y'all. What were we talking about?
Requiem.
Yes. So, as we move on to this new thing, it is very much. So, um, a lot of like, so the whole thing is like we're following, Xeon again as the Red Wolves, led by oh, is it Solaria? I think it was
Yeah.
Solaria, who's
Literally a Warhammer name.
yeah, this a redheaded actual mom. So I know some people are gonna be like, well, some people are like, oh, well, we got a Melf in Gundam again as our MC.
No one said it until you did.
Someone's probably already said before me. I just said it out in the open.
Nah. I think you may be the first person I've ever heard.
But that's not the point. The point is that yeah, now that we've got that, a lot of what makes so now we find out that once again uh the Federation has once again created another Gundam mobile suit that has never been heard of in the series before ever in life.
You know, I have a funny theory about why this keeps happening, but I'll save that for later.
I mean, what this is like the fourth Gundam, not the RX-78 or the RX-78 3 that has been retconned into the UC.
If we're counting animated only works, yes.
It's like that, bro. How many Gundams did you make, and why on earth was Amuro still stuck with the worst one?
So my theory behind why there's so many freaking Gundams is this, alright?
Mm-hmm.
The Earth Federation had essentially like a shock and awe tactic, right? Hence why it's called the Trojan Horse. Armor and the White Base go in, essentially work as a great distraction, and get all of Zeon fearing the White Devil, and then all across the globe in a bunch of smaller operations, a bunch of similar looking mobile suits show up that look like the White Devil and just knock people out left and right off on the map. And they only show up like once or twice to keep the ruse going.
Uh,
It's a fear tactic. You fear the White Devil, then like a day later at your base, another Gundam shows up out of nowhere and wipes you guys out. And it's like, oh shoot, man, Zeon screwed. Morale goes down.
hmm. I mean, yeah, that's an interesting idea. But it's like, damn, did everything? But it's like, it's crazy because like, bro, every Gundam. There's a reason why there's so much the memes that talk about like there's like multiple like AU shows that go like the Gundam is cursed. Because like, let's be honest
I
here.
mean,
Let's think about like what Gundam protagonist has gone on a Gundam and actually have had a productive life afterwards. I could think of probably three in Universal Century. I think
I
of
mean,
Judo. I think of Seabrook, and I think of maybe Uso.
Seabrook
Oh,
took a
and
life of piracy, man. I'm gonna call that a good. I'm gonna
oh,
call that a
oh,
normal life.
and then we could replace Seabrook with Banasher. Then I don't know if we consider the anime, which he actually lives instead of he doesn't die in the books.
Ko kind of, you know,
I forget he exists, dog. Let's be honest here.
every. Ko probably just went like, I hate women, and like lived on the then just like what became a military trainer for like the rest of his days.
Oh wait, no, hold on. I'm forgetting. We got uh what's the 8th MS team MC.
You know, Peg Leg living in the woods and you know, Petty from that rescue if you call that fine.
I mean, he got a bad chick. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I
I mean,
dude stuck in the woods until the end of the war. Until like who knows when.
I mean, Solari's stuck in Africa.
Oh, we know where she ends up after going to Africa.
We assume.
There's 1 of 3 places she ends up. All right.
Okay, so let's to talk about why the ending of Requiem is so much like the worst part of the show. We kind of set this up. So the whole point is Solari again, like I said, is a mom. She has a kid up in space. So her whole thing after the Gundam runs its fade, and they're all trying to get back, is she wants to go see her kid again. Episode 5 reveals that the Gundam pilot for the EX, which is the Gundam for the series, is a kid about the same age as her child.
Of course.
And so the whole thing is now in episode 6. She stays back to make sure that the rest of her team are able to get up to space and get out of there because they're retreating because the war is basically at this point over. Slash, they're about to have the final stand at Al-Baku. Right, so that's what's happening. So she is fighting the Gundam, and because she knows the kid, and because they're both new types, she tries to connect with him. And it almost works. Like, it legitimately, like, the talk no jutsu part of Gundam and the idea of new types almost works. And I think this is one of the tragedies of new types, too, is, like, their whole purpose is to be, if we just communicated and finally understood each other and took a step back, a lot of issues are stopped. Like, we're ready to become the most hated character in Unicorn if he just calms down and listens to Marita. If that, like, legitimately, if that blaster does not hit the Banshee's arm for like at least a good 3 seconds longer, half the show is perfectly fine. It really is like the whole irony of new types is they're friendly meant to be able to communicate and really talk to each other. But they're also so emotionally unstable, they will cook each other at the first opportunity if things go wrong. They're too
Right.
sensitive, right? So it's like, here you go. We finally have it. We have the moment where new types are finally cool with each other.
Don't forget, almost all of the rest of UC basically happens because of Lala getting in the way of a beam rifle. I mean, beam saber.
I mean, kinda. Yeah,
The knock-on effects of a new type doing dumb new type things is immense.
of people run by emotions doing emotional things proceeds to doom the entire timeline in spite of all the
Char,
people that try so hard to fix it.
Char, I'm sorry I killed your prostitute girlfriend. It was into me more. But it's been 19 years, buddy. We need to stop.
She was like a mother to me. That oh,
I feel so bad for Amuro.
he really like tried. Man was, I mean, to be fair, he was also just mentally like screwed too by Char's counterattack as well.
Yeah, but he just wanted to run his 9 to 5, and Char's like, dude, I'm willing to end the world unless you get over here right now for my petty conflict. Give me the run back, or I'm going to freeze the earth.
Which I'm just like, now I'm just like, so wait, what the heck happened with him and Beltorchica in between to the point where he started like fucking on Sean? It's like that just
Amuro's a
it's
bit of
never
a,
like it's so crazy because it's like crazy because then it's like Tomino writes Beltorchica's children and it's like I'm confused what's happening.
Sunrise executives came in and said, I'm sorry, Tomino, Amuro needs a hot girlfriend that exists only for one movie.
I think it's probably because it could be also just like people have been upset if they killed Beltorchica in that movie. Because she's not really a pilot, but it's like imagine you kill Beltorchica and then Amuro, like, or at least let one of them live.
I mean, and once you realize that Anna was also involved in the team for Char's counterattack, things almost start clicking into place. Which is the weirdest fun fact about that movie. It's also it's also one of like Anno's like earlier works in a way.
Mm. Yeah, that is true. So, but to get back on topic, the whole. So here you go. You finally do it. The Gundam and Zaku are finally talking. The pilots are finally talking. The new types are doing the new type thing they should be doing. We almost have it. And then the Gundam, a literal child, gets stabbed in the back with a heat saber and presumably melts to death.
I kind of
By
like how the
by
goons
one
just
of
exist as like Sith Inquisitors in this like series.
yeah, it's like everybody who runs that thing is just demons. Everybody who's in that thing is just are just demons by nature.
Right?
It's like Raw had a goof too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Raw, Norris Packard, and this dude, all are just demons.
Man, give these men a goof.
Yeah, it's just like man, literally.
Armor, if they took the goofs into space, Armor would have actually been screwed.
I don't know if the goofs
Forget the dome.
are the goofs actually able to be used in space.
No, that they had to use like Rick Doms in space, and like Armor took out like 10 of them in like one scene.
Yeah, that's I'm just like,
Man,
it's like
if
if
it
they
was like
made like a
Rick
space
goof,
goof, then maybe there's a
like
chance.
if it was like 10 like Rick goofs, it would have been over for Amuro.
Yeah, but so the whole point is that happens, and again, literally, I said once the gun goes down, the show gets bad, and I said it's the last minute after the gun is down and the the goof leaves, and Solari is just mourning this child that has just been killed senselessly because they could have stopped it. It was she's literally like we were right there. She was like we were right there. We had it. We could have stopped us without any more bloodshed. We then get a epilogue monologue in which Solari talks about the war pretty much ends. I now go to the African Xeon remnant to now fight so that no more children have to fight. And it's like, what? That doesn't make
Neon,
sense.
no, it
Because that
makes
doesn't work
perfect
either.
sense. And
Because Camille is literally the next protagonist of the show.
no, she had a Xeon moment. Every Xeon pilot is subject to a dumb Xeon moment.
But
It's like in the Boondocks. You gotta have a Xeon moment.
it's just like, oh my goodness, it's hilarious. So, uh, there's a podcast I do watch called um Nerd Legion, which is which one of the people on it is Doa, who does content does casting for mostly like Bandai games at points. He did Bowser's Saga casting. He does everything. I think he might do some Gundam casting because he's a Gundam fan. And they talked about Requiem when I watched their podcast. He talked about Requiem, and obviously the problem is like his co-host doesn't know anything about Gundam. But I also don't think he never pointed out either the other implications of that moment too, which is like you said before. If you know any extra knowledge of the franchise in like supplemental material, she is 90% screwed. Like
90%.
like the irony of it is like, yeah, she wants to go to help, make sure uh another kid doesn't have to fight in war. One, just off the show itself, that makes no sense.
If you want a quick TLDR for what's about to happen, or over
But
the rest of this
also,
explanation, Africa Xeon is effing crazy.
I mean, that too. But also, there are 3 notorious moments in Gundam in which specifically the African Zeon remnants get their ass beat. There is one that happens in Double Zeta. There's one that happens in Double 83. And I think the Norriton attack in Unicorn is also one too.
That's also African Xeon.
So that's and they get beat. So that is 3 moments in African Xeon during important storylines in the Universal Century where they just lose. So either she leaves before then, or she's taken out at some point. Which is like,
Honestly, if the
okay.
season 2 ever gets off the ground, I want it to be her wearing an eye patch, just trying to do African Xeon things, and then dying to, I don't know, judo out of nowhere
I feel
in the
like
final episode.
the only thing I could do is probably like try and like get her out of there. I think the idea should probably be like, I know what's gonna happen. They'll probably be like, you know what? She's like, okay, I made a mistake. These motherfuckers crazy. I need to get out of here.
I want her to go full Xeon.
I don't. I would like she already served her purpose. She just could have gone out of there.
He served her narrative purpose, which means she has no choice but to re-sig.
But why?
My earbuds just cut out.
I don't know.
Shoot. All right, there we go.
You good? You good?
Yep, that's what I get for using these bootleg AirPods.
Okay. So, the point is that Requiem is a really good show if you can get past the janky animation at points. Because, let's be honest here, this show is jank. It has moments where it's like, it has some of the most beautiful backgrounds. Like, there's a shot where they're looking at the countryside, and it looks damn near better than real life.
You can really make an argument that, like, MS Igloo looked better. I mean, was better animated.
I mean, better anime, but there's like scenes of just like, obviously graphically it just looks better than real life. Right. If we're talking about like as a show, obviously show, I think Igloo has, a lot more things. I haven't watched Igloo properly, so I should probably get on that. But
it's neat if you like fables. That's like the best way to describe Igloo. It's like a series of like fables that just take place in the Universal Century. There are people who need to learn some lessons, but also there are some giant robots.
Yeah. But, like, I definitely see, like, it definitely is, like, there are a lot of things there. I think Solari's lip syncing is good. I think one of the biggest issues is, like, when people talk about, like, man, the voice acting by this being an English thing is so bad. It's bad. And I think really is, like, one of the reasons because they don't lip sync or, at the very least, mocap every character.
Right.
Like, Solari obviously gets the most mocap. She's the main character. Of course she does. But, like, everyone else...
like a video game character. They're video game NPCs almost.
Yeah, they literally are video game NPCs. Unreal Engine is a video game creator. It's a video game engine. They literally made it with a video game engine. They are all literally video game characters on a TV show. Not Arcane. Which, I can't wait till 2 in the morning where I get to watch the final 3 episodes of that show and be potentially upset that they just potentially butchered it with the way... let me stop. I don't want to talk about Arcane like that.
like it was really funny in like the first two episodes of Requiem where like you see all these like slow moving Zaku's and like the EX is like moving like short is like bunny hopping like short dashing like he's playing Gundam Battle Operation.
I mean, considering that it's a literal 12-year-old in the cockpit, probably is. This might as well be Battle Operation to him.
I need to get back to playing that game. Too bad the player base is dead on PC.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Bandai kind of Bandai'd with the servers, but you know, it lasted longer than Gundam Evolution somehow.
Why do you hurt me, Bandai? Bandai, why on earth do you keep messing up? Like, come on, dog. No one. Like, I know it came out that basically it seems like the Katakawa deal that's being rumored is because Katakawa is trying to not get bought by China.
Korea.
I thought it was a China thing.
No, it's Korea.
I'm pretty sure what I heard was something like a Chinese conglomerate, but I don't know where Korea thing comes from. I don't think Korea is like
Cacao.
eating up stuff like that.
I believe it's like Cacao. But yeah, it's a Korean mega corporation that's just been buying up a ton of shares of Katakawa.
But yeah, a lot of. But like,
Yeah, for
if
the
everyone
first time,
just
it's
like,
not actually China.
overall consolidation isn't good, and it's like, wait, why is it talking about the whole kind of quad thing? Was that's Sony, not Bandai? Oh my goodness, I'm stupid. My brain's fried. My brain's fried. I just want to watch Kendrick video reactions. But
Like, you wanna know what sucks?
what?
All these like Bandai Gundam games get like so much support from the fans and whatnot, and like Bandai keeps dropping the ball left and right.
I mean,
Meanwhile, level five's like, here's Megaton Musashi. This game we've spent so many times trying to release and re-release because no one wants to play it. And we're gonna keep adding more features and story content for free over time. And it's like, and you get and crossplay. It's like, bro, no one's playing the game. Why are you still adding more content?
it just.
Like, I hate that. Like, this is a game that gets like no eyes on it. Meanwhile, Bandai's like gets like thousands of people, and they keep dropping the ball with every release. Sick of it.
It's just. It's just weird. I don't know what else to say.
The world's unfair, man.
Well, huh.
That's I'm enjoying Africa, Xeon. So I'll be back.
Alright, so. Now we've kind of gone through that. We talk about Breaker. We talk about. We talk about which kind of aspect. We talked about sloppily. I'll probably honest here about Requiem. I think.
Yeah, we've kind of carried it. We've kind of been all over the place with
Yeah,
everything today.
been all over the place. We spent 30 minutes talking about fighting game stuff.
Yeah.
Like I wish we were at this point. I just wish we just turned the Castle Super Beast at this point.
Who says we can't?
I mean, we kind of are. The whole point was originally to be like, oh,
You know, I just saw this episode just to be on the safe side on my Twitch. The one with the robots. I cover my tracks.
I mean, I had a couple working titles. The uh, Requiem for a Witch, uh, Mommy Issues, Mommy Issues, the Mecha. I don't know. I can figure something out. I just also figure out what to do with the actual channel itself. Besides that, I think we're kind of done here, and I think we probably just kind of wrap up and have you relax that you're ready to. Wait a second. If you play Nikkei, is it still on your computer?
I'll have to reinstall. I definitely have to reinstall it.
I was gonna be like, no, I'll probably just. I had to figure out how I'm gonna screen share. Probably just quick screen share will do. Yeah, we can figure that out later. Talk about just later there. On that note, we are pretty much done for this episode of Out of Pocket. Thank y'all for watching, everybody. Episode will probably be up hopefully on Sunday. I'm aiming to try and put these episodes up there. If not, like some point during Saturday, so that way it's a lot more effective. I just need to kind of get the whole system cleared out. Hopefully we figure things out there, and that's cool. That being said, you can find us all on the social medias of our choice. We are both on Blue Sky. Right. We are both on Twitter for now. We are both on YouTube, kinda.
Sorta.
I am still working on, for my kind of projects, I'm still working on getting a Dear Days retrospective out before the end of the year, so that when Dear Days 2 drops, there's at least something to kind of look forward on that.
Right.
And I am going to try and finish, or at least start the process of getting the Dear Days, the Will Address rewrite up.
And as this YouTube video gets 5 likes, I'll send Zechs a copy of Ellen on Steam.
And if this gets 10 likes, Zeta will actually go and play Cold Steel 1 like I asked him to 3 years ago.
Yeah. And come back next time for when I try to break down Ultraman Lord of Zechs.
We haven't decided on that one yet.
Trust me, it's gonna be a great time.
Is there like a show I should probably watch?
Huh?
There's a show I should probably watch to kind of refresh myself on Ultraman as a whole.
Yeah, I'll also be providing some good recommendations and whatnot without
ruining
things too much.
You know what? Even better. An episode about Tokusatsu. Let's go.
Right. Actually, nope. Here's your homework. Go on YouTube.com.
Okay.
And you're gonna go watch Ultraman Z. Z, whatever however you want to pronounce it. It's all on YouTube. Fully subbed. There's even a dub.
Okay.
Yep. One of the best modern shows. Just go in, watch it. 10 out of 10. Pretty good primer for everything.
Okay. I will look that up. Because I definitely feel like with a recent news thing from Hasbro, I think it's about time we finally kind of tackled the whole I think it's about time we finally tackle the whole situation with Power Rangers.
Ooh, yeah.
So I think just making it a whole Tokusatsu episode would be interesting.
I feel like Toku's gonna be a recurring theme on this channel.
Without doubt. Without doubt, but it's cool. Anyway, that is it for the stream, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you in another 2 weeks, which will be after after Thanksgiving,
And we'll be on my channel tomorrow, as of the time
Yep.
of this recording.
And we will be on Zeta's channel to see some booty.
Yep.
On that note, thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
What ain't and things. All right. Bye.